For sloping or uneven ground, Gram recommends sloping the panels for a stronger and better looking fence. The same installation procedures still apply, but we recommend clipping your string line to mark the bottom rail measurement and allowing for 50mm continuous clearance between the fence and the ground. Remember to clean off any excess concrete and check the alignment of the fence at the end of each day. The concrete needs to cure overnight before installing the Gramline sheets, but longer periods of time may be required in harsher than normal weather conditions. Day 2, and we're now ready to finish off the job. First, check the posts and concrete are firmly set in the ground before fitting the Gramline sheets into the frame. Firstly, lay the Gramline sheets on the ground, making sure they're correctly lapped, that the profile is consistent, and being careful not to damage or scratch the sheets. Measure your installed frame to determine the required dimensions, marking the sheet to show where cutting is required. It's extremely important that nibblers or tin snips only are used to avoid damaging the sheets. Unscrew the top rail at the higher side of the tapered panel and fit the shortest tapered Gramline sheet into the bottom rail. Sheets must sit firmly against the inside of the channel post. Continue to fit the sheets, making sure they're lapped correctly, and pulling down the top rail as you go. A rubber mallet can be used to gently locate the top rail onto the sheets. If required, the sheets may be gently adjusted in a horizontal direction to make them lap properly. For a standard level panel, remove the screws from one side of the top rail and slide the first Gramline sheet into the bottom rail. Make sure the sheets sit firmly against the inside of the channel post. Continue to fit the sheets, ensuring they lap correctly and that the profiles are consistent. Pull down the top rail as you go and use a rubber mallet to gently tap the top rail onto the sheets. Next, refix self-drilling screws to the posts and rails, ensuring the screws are tight. Then follow the same procedure for all standard level panels. For sloping panels, longer sheets will be needed for the desired fence height. To work out the amount of cutting required for a full raked panel, first measure the amount of fall over the length of a full-sized 2.365 metre panel, and then divide this by 3. Each sheet will need to be cut top and bottom by this amount. Mark the sheets with a straight edge and cut them with a nibbler or tin snips. Nibbling up to 3 sheets together will save time. Unscrew the top rail at the higher side of the sloping panel and slide the first Gramline sheet into the bottom rail. Check that the sheet sits firmly against the inside of the channel post. Continue to fit the sheets, checking that they lap correctly. Pull down the top rail as you go and use a rubber mallet to gently tap the top rail onto the sheets. You may need to gently adjust sheets in a horizontal direction to make them lap correctly. Refix the self-drilling screws to ensure the screws are tight, repeating the entire procedure until all sloped panels are complete. Finally, check the installation and hose down the fence to remove any metal filings from the drilling and cutting. And the addition of Gramline lattice panels will enhance any Gramline installation. With the posts in the ground, you'll need to mark all posts indicating where the lattice will sit. This is the height of your lattice plus 5 millimeters, measured down from the top of the post. Fix the bottom rail and install the infill sheets as described earlier. Then fix the top rail to the posts at your marked position. Next, take another rail, place it against the top rail, and use 3 self-drilling screws to fasten the two together before fixing to the posts at either end. Insert a Gramline panel firmly into the frame. Place a top rail onto the panel, and finally screw fix at either end. It's then simply a matter of repeating the procedure to complete your job. Low maintenance is a major benefit of Gramline fencing, and an occasional hose down will keep your whole fence looking good for years. To maintain the paint finish, avoid spraying the surface with garden sprays or fertilizers, pesticides and so on. Make sure you hose down the fence immediately should this occur. No soil or garden fill should come in contact with the bottom rails and sheets. Ensure the bottom rail is free of entrapped water. At the downhill connection of post and rails, make sure the interface drainage gap is not blocked. When you weigh up all the benefits and features, a Gramline steel fence will complement the style and colour scheme of any home for years to come.